Alrighty guys, welcome back to Star Wars Review. Today I'm reviewing Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 3 Episode 4, A Different Approach, which was directed by Saul Ruiz, and was written by Ezra Nachman, and was released on February 28th, 2024, which I thought was an okay episode. I like seeing more of Omega and Crosshair's relationship grow, and the ending was really nice also with a reunion with, the other members of The Bad Batch. But I just really wasn't into the conflict what kind of led up to that moment in this episode with, Crosshair and Omega trying to find their way off this planet they crash land on called Lau. So, I just wasn't really into it that much, and it, is the entirety of the episode. There was one moment I liked earlier on in the episode. It's a small moment back on Mount Tantus where we see Hemlock speaking with Nala Se, which Hemlock tells her that Omega has, escaped off the planet, and also mentions how it's quite suspicious that the first time Emery tested Omega's blood sample, it came back positive, which Nala Se tries to brush it off as a false positive, but Hemlock says that they'll test that out once they get Omega back, and then he threatens Nala Se by saying that her future is uncertain. But then the episode, like I said, we see Omega and Crosshair crash land on this planet called Lau, which obviously they don't have enough time to repair the ship before Hemlock catches up to them. So they head into this little spaceport town looking for another way off-world, which there is Imperial presence on this planet and town. And so we see them steal some clothing to disguise themselves, which they then head to the one spaceport, because, Crosshair says they can maybe sneak onto a transport shuttle. But once there, they see that it's heavily guarded, so Omega tries to bribe the ticket person for safe passage off-world. But the ticket person wants a lot of credits, so they need to find a way to get a lot of credits. I think it was like 30,000 some. But we see them head to a cantina where Omega comes up with a plan to, gamble for some credits. So we see her start playing this card game with this Trandoshan, and she starts winning a lot of credits. And right when she's about to step away, this Imperial captain named Man comes in and wants to play against Omega. So, Omega reluctantly accepts the challenge, which during their match we see that Batcher is getting very angry at Captain Man. So Man tells Omega to get rid of her hound. So Omega, tells Crosshair to put Batcher outside. But after playing for a bit, it seems like Man is going to win. But Omega pulls out these 3 cards, which ends up getting her the win. Which, obviously upsets Man, but he does give her the win and the credits. Which during this, we see that one of Hemlock's ships has made its way to Lau and has found the crashed shuttle, Omega and Crosshair stole, which after the match, Man gets notified of it, and then tells Omega to wait a moment, which at this point he doesn't challenge them on the crash shuttle, but does demand Omega to pay a gambling fee, as gambling is illegal on Lau, and so Omega is all but forced to do so, so she hands over to Fine, and then Captain Man and the TK troopers leave, which then Crosshair asks how many credits they have now, which Omega I think says that they have 35,000, which like I said earlier, they needed 30,000 to bribe the ticket person, so they have enough, and they then go outside and find that Batcher has gone missing, and Omega wants to find her, which there's this kid out front who tells them that he knows what happened to Batcher, but they have to pay up, which his price is 10,000 credits, but Crosshair gets him to lower it to 5,000, and then Omega pays it, which the kid then tells him that Captain Man took Batcher to the cargo area, and so Omega wants to obviously go there, but Crosshair tells her that, they don't have enough time for it, and that they're going to need to leave Batcher behind. But, obviously Omega doesn't want to leave Batcher, and so she gives Crosshair the credits and goes after her, which we see her get to the cargo area and start to climb the fence, when Crosshair catches up to her, having a change of heart, saying they'll do things her way, which they then sneak in and find the crate Batcher's locked in, but they need to get to the center console area to free her, which there's a bunch of other crates with a bunch of other creatures locked up also, which Omega suggests freeing them along with Batcher. But before they can get to the console area, Man appears, revealing his trap, as he knew taking Batcher with him, they'll obviously come after her to rescue her. But he then tells them that they can pay him back his credits or be arrested. But he also reveals that he knows about Hemlock and the crashed shuttle. But, obviously having no actual real choice here, Omega throws the credits at Man and then tells Crosshair they can do things his way. And so he opens fire at the Imperials. And then they find cover at the console area where Omega then frees Batcher along with all the other animals, which causes enough chaos for Omega and Batcher to sneak into this cargo ship and, powering up and whatnot, as Crosshair provides cover fire, which he then starts making his way for the ship, but Man confronts him, but the crate behind Captain Man opens up, revealing a Rathstar, which then, takes him and eats him, I guess. But Crosshair gets to the ship and they take off in a jump to hyperspace. But we then see Hemlock arriving at the crash shuttle and then being informed that Omega has escaped via the cargo ship. And so he tells them to track the ship. But we then see Omega and Crosshair in hyperspace, as Crosshair says that they'll need to ditch the ship as soon as possible, as they're obviously being tracked. Which Omega says that she's already on it, as she sent a coded message to Hunter and Wrecker telling them to meet her at a secret location, which location is the one moon of Ryloth. We saw the Bad Batch at in the first season of the Bad Batch, which they get there, and Hunter and Wrecker are already there. And so there's a nice reunion between Omega and them, which they talk about searching the galaxy 5 times to find her. And, Hunter says it ended up being her who founded them, which I thought was a nice moment. But he then asks how she escaped, which she reveals that she had help, which is when Crosshair leaves the ship. And the episode ends as the clones tensely stare at each other, which, like I said, I thought it was an okay episode. I really loved the ending there, and seeing Omega and Crosshair's relationship grow more was nice. And, I am happy the reunion between the Bad Batch happened in this episode, so we can, kind of move on more quickly. But, I just wasn't into the stuff with Captain Man and that conflict. I felt more tension in the final moments with Crosshair and Hunter and Wrecker more than any moment with Captain Man. So, I just wish I was more into the actual conflict of the episode, as I liked everything else about it. Like I mentioned, that moment with Hemlock and Nala Se I really liked. And, I just liked all the character stuff with the Bad Batch. But, a good chunk of the episode is that conflict with Captain Man. So, yeah. But, I am very excited to see what happens next. Definitely with Crosshair and how he, ends up rejoining the Bad Batch, I guess. But my grade for this episode is going to be a B. So, yeah. But next I'll review episode 5, The Return, which you could check that out then. But in the meantime, check out my reviews on the first 3 episodes and all my other Bad Batch videos and everything else I do. But I've been Star Wars Review, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.
They are coming. For all of you. Give us a real challenge.